Good morning. It's Wednesday, and from Atlanta, Georgia, coming to you live. It's the Influencers Podcast with Dr. Bill Williams. I'm real pleased today to bring in an expert. Every time we have a new podcast episode, we look for experts, those people who have been influential. And Ryan Phelan, managing partner of RPE Origin, is more than just a marketer. He's a thought leader of the year. He's been in business over 25 years. So welcome to Influencers Podcast, Ryan. Glad you're here.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. Lovely to be here. Really excited to talk to you and share a couple things. It'd be fun.
I guess you're in Dallas, Texas, so you're in the other God's country.
Yes.
Other than Georgia, Texas has got my heart.
Well, right now it's trying to fry us all with the 105-degree temperatures, but it's still a lovely place to be.
Yeah, I've been to Dallas many times. There was a steakhouse in Dallas I would always visit every time I'd come in to visit my advisors there. So it's like my wife and I often talked about, let's fly to Dallas just for a steak.
This is the place to do it. So there are more steakhouses with amazing food than I can count.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about RPE Origin. What is that? And what do you do? Let's look at the question of where were you, what happened, and who you're surrounded by that inspired you to do exactly what you're doing today.
Yeah. I've been in this industry for 25 years at a senior level for client-side retailers and SaaS companies. And really where I am at today is RPE Origin. We're the only vendor-agnostic full-service email agency in the space. We just do email, right? Because the breadth and depth of what it can bring to a marketer's channels and focus. Who I was surrounded by was really a 10-year-old journey with the founder of this company who I was great friends with. And he and I used to sail off the coast of California on a weekly basis on the weekends. And for years and years and years, he begged me to come work with him, that he had kind of topped out in his company, and he was smart enough to realize that there was another way to do things that didn't involve him. And about 5 years ago, after I came off of my last job, he caught me and he said, "Hey, why don't we make the leap now? Why don't you come and do it? And you'll have the full support, la, la, la." And we laid out a plan, but really it was, that 10-year relationship that he and I had of trust and bringing, being with him and just building a relationship that brought me to where I am today. And the team that we've assembled and that I inherited when I came on are some of the best people in the space. And so I've just been incredibly lucky to be in a business where we're changing companies and helping people as much as we can with digital marketing.
I saw that there was an internet freeze up for a second there.
On my end?
I don't know. It just happened. You went blank and you came back. So
All
very
right.
glad you came back. Tell me what a marketing evolutionist is.
Sure. It's a phrase we've coined because I was in the internet back in 1998 and sending emails off of a bulk laptop computer that I had, right? And this is definitely in the digital ecosystem been a journey and an evolution for all of us. Stand by for 5 days and the entire world has shifted, or something new has happened, or some new technique or strategy has come about. And so when we talk about marketing evolution or marketing evolutionists, we talk about that brain space that you have to have that says the internet and digital marketing is not static. It is fluid, and you have to keep changing, keep evolving, or else you get left behind. And if I didn't evolve with the times, I'd still be sending emails off of my desktop. And so it's more of a mind space that encourages you to be open to change and open to all the new technologies and all the new ways of doing things and the customer mentality of that channel.
Well, you navigated the water for over 25 years with email. I've done something similar. I started with a 14.4 baud noisy modem, and 9600 came along, and I was mining email on the internet so that I could do business internationally. I was seeking out people's emails so I could then email them. So I've been a student of what you're doing. I've seen so many email programs come and go. What's the latest thing that's going on in the email sending business?
You know, it's the availability of data. If I look back over the last 8 years, data, and not just the data we have, but external data, and as a whole, data has become more readily available, from vendors selling specific insights to having really interest categories, psychographic data, demographic data, and behavioral data, right? All of that data is now available. And one of the big things that I've seen over the last 8 years is that availability has brought marketers closer to making smarter decisions.
Targeted marketing.
More targeted, you bet. For the last 25 years, every thought leader in the space has been talking about relevant emails do better. Batch and blast will do X, but relevant emails that are informed by data or action or intent will do 3 times X. And so that data availability makes our emails smarter and meshes with people's perception of what the internet is. Internet everywhere. You go to any site, it's filling that page with relevant information based upon past browse, past traffic, past history, you know, and trying to derive intent. Email needs to catch up, and so I think that availability is what has made it better.
Did you ever have a point where you had a failure that just kind of altered the course of your career or your company, and you learned something big that allowed you to recover and go beyond what you thought?
Yes. I used to think that I was pretty smart. And I got, you know, full of myself and really thought that I had a handle on this whole thing. And I worked at a company and was doing a project for Skype. Skype has more email addresses than you can imagine. And they hired us to do a data analysis and a model-driven engagement to derive how to message to certain people to reactivate them. And I realized I knew nothing. And thank goodness for a good friend of mine who partnered with me on that project, but opened my eyes to the power of what data can do in really customizing a message. And so that failure of me thinking that I had it slowly, very quickly went away, because she pretty much shoved it in my face and went, you have no idea what you're doing. And that really, if I think about the join to the marketing evolution idea, really reset my head to say, you got too trapped in thinking that you knew it all.
So if you think you know it all as a marketer, and then you come up against something that's big data, and you are not using big data, you probably are behind.
Yes. I used to think that simple segmentation for a message was it, right? I knew there was other stuff out there, but I didn't know how to get it. Come along and we're looking at 150 data points attached to each email address. We're looking at model data, propensity latent data to pick out the right channel to communicate with them, and not saying that email is everything just because I have their email address. Looking at that channel propensity in attachment to interest category, motivator categories, derived intent, and putting them into a persona was a whole new world for me, and really took me to, that is the ultimate of how you can really look at data. What we're doing on a daily basis with open or click or join or purchase is so simplistic. There's so much room for people to move up.
Sounds like Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion, about the art of persuasion
Mhm.
might be something that the email industry has figured out how to dig in.
Yes, I had to dig in and not overthink it in some ways, right? We were talking earlier about subject lines or headlines, right? And I see a lot of marketers getting hung up on the the simple stuff, right? I've been one of the proponents in the industry when people say, "How do you write a good subject line?" And my answer is always, if you as a marketer don't know how to write a good subject line, you've either overthought it or you should find a new career, because you know your customer the best, you know what you're trying to get across, you know your target audience, you know the intent that needs to be drawn from it. Be creative, be authentic, come up with it and go. Don't obsess over the small stuff. Let's focus our energy on the big stuff that really moves the needle.
True, 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 all the way. You know, a lot of people do things that fail. You've been in the business for a lot of years. So, what are the three top things you know or see people do that causes them to fail in the email business?
You know, first is complacency. Is just that feeling of I'm just going to do this, right? And not really growing or not really challenging yourself. The second thing is saying to yourself, I need to find time instead of making time. You'll never find time to do stuff because it will always be filled up with the drama of the day. The truly successful ones find the or make the time because it's important. And so that's restructuring your day, restructuring your priorities. And then the third thing is that we stop learning. We stop talking about or having discussions intelligently about the next thing or how to improve or what do you think about this perspective. COVID was a part of that, is that isolated us, but at a deeper level you have to have this internal desire to learn and keep learning and keep trying and keep testing. And those three things put together are consistently what I see as failure points for a marketing professional or for an executive.
Absolutely, three beautiful points. You know, the first one is the definition of insanity. Keep doing the
Mm-hmm.
same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Yep.
And so many people are stuck on their one successful technique, and they never do the education. Your third point, to learn what's new and probably better.
Yeah. One trick ponies just have one trick. I've spent a career trying to have a whole deck of cards.
What makes your 25-year plus career continue to progress upwards because you have that motivation inside? What is it that does the motivation?
I love working with the people I work with, right? Every company I've worked with, I absolutely love the people. I love the exchange of ideas. I love the camaraderie. I love the collaboration. So part of it is the people. And plus, the other thought leaders in the space are some of my closest friends in the world because we travel to all the conferences together. We see each other 5 or 6 times a year. And it's just, you know, over the last 25 years, I've gotten to really know those people. So that's really, it starts with the people, but also the channel. I'm in email because it's darn exciting. It's fun. It is always changing. It has been the dominant channel for the last umpteen zillion years. And I really have fun with it because there's so many different things you can do. And no matter what company I walk into, whether it's a Fortune 50 company or if it's an SMB, there is always things that we can do different to improve results and draw the company closer to the consumer.
Yeah, I really like the idea that you found a niche of people you like to hang around with, and you keep coming back to them, and that's your homeboy group.
Yeah, it
I
is.
was I was successful in dentistry early, and I traveled starting about my fifth year of practice. I traveled and took continuing education classes from every leading expert in the field of TMJ, head and neck pain. And
Mhm.
so I started having a group of friends that always traveled, and we became buddies. And eventually we formed study clubs, we formed academies, we became the leaders in our profession in that area. And so there's nothing like a group of peers who totally understand the very top of the ladder
Yeah.
of one discipline. So there's nothing like it. You can't have a conversation with normal people, but you can definitely do it with your buddies.
Yep. No, totally agree. It's that outlet of I need I need people to talk to that understand it. If I have a conversation with my father, it's at 100,000 feet because he doesn't get our space. He doesn't get the nuance. He understands what I do, but he doesn't understand the nuance. But my family, my friends in the industry, they get it. They understand it, and it's that ability to grow as a person by that sharing and that learning from each other that has
And look,
defined this industry for the last 20 years.
that's the common problem with everybody in a niche area. You're kind of like an alien with horns outside your group, but in your group, you're just a normal guy.
Yes, exactly.
What about your company motto? Tell us about RPE origin.
You know, our motto is the marketing evolution, but at a deeper level, we have as a mission been driven and dedicated to help our clients as much as we can and drive them forward. And that's come from a couple different ways, right? I'm not a sales guy, but I do all the sales. I sell on relationship in that I understand clients and we can help them, but help is the main term. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm trying to help them with the difficulties or challenges or successes that they have. At a
Just
deeper
like
level, go ahead.
just like dentistry, we didn't have to sell the need for dentistry. Everybody knows you need it. It's just where you're more comfortable getting it.
Yes, exactly. And I've been in business long enough that 90% of sales is, do I trust the person I'm talking to and do I think that they can help me? Or do I know that they can help me? And I'll talk to prospects all day and lay it out very plainly that says, hey, I can help, but if you want to go with somebody else because you trust them more. But we're here to make you successful. And that trickles down to our company lifestyle and how our team members work and the freedom that they have.
It's a beautiful way to practice and do business. Tell me 3 success secrets that others can model from your experience.
Gosh, don't take yourself so seriously. I can get on a stage in front of 1,000 people and talk for a half hour or 45 minutes, and then get off, and it's this humble mentality that just says, I'm really glad you had me here. This was a lot of fun. Now let's talk and answer everybody's questions. It's very easy to get drawn into the God complex, or I am the best in whatever, right? And so don't take yourself so seriously. Second, listen. There is a lack of listening. And in fact, if you do this experiment, next time you're in a group of people, sit back and listen to what everybody's saying. And what everybody is telling is a story. Everybody is telling their own story or an adaptation of the topic in general. And what you start to learn about interpersonal communication is people tell their story because they want to be understood and they want to be acknowledged for the experience that they had that they just shared. But we get too wrapped up in telling our own story and just waiting for the next opportunity to tell our own story. If we listen a little bit and step back, we actually learn from what stories are being told instead of just waiting in line. And the third thing is be appreciative. Take care of people. My company is built upon respecting the people that work for us in such a way that makes it almost obsessive, that our team members have fun, they have the flexibility to work when they can, and the ability to go take care of their personal lives when it's important. And we, of all the people that work for us, there's only 2 people that work more than 35 hours a week, and it's myself and the CTO. We demand that people don't work 35 hours a week or more because we want people to have a life. And we are obsessive about making sure that that happens.
Can you see me okay, Ryan, now?
I
We
can't.
we totally lost internet here in Atlanta, so we took about 3 minutes to get it back. So thanks for staying along. Maybe we'll
Of
just
course.
continue.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
And we'll figure out whether we need to edit the thing, if we can get that blank spot out or not. But right now, we're back on the air. And you were talking about 3 success secrets. You were rocking and rolling.
Yes.
What was your second one, maybe?
Second one, man, you know what? The fun thing about me is once I say it, it's gone. So I'm going to have to make up a whole new thing. Let's see. What was my first one? Let's go back to that.
I cannot remember. It was like
Okay.
right before we blacked out.
Okay. If I was going to start over, right, in my second one, let's see. Don't be full of yourself.
That was it. That was it.
That was my first one. All right.
Yep.
So don't be full of yourself. Listen. That was the second thing.
Yep.
So, the funny thing about people is if you get a group of people together, this is an exercise to do. If you get a group of people together, sit back, don't say anything, and just listen to what everybody's saying. What you'll notice is that interpersonal communication is all about telling stories on the topic in general, and relating your past advice or your past experience, right? And I think what we tend to do as humans is that we just stand in line and wait for our chance to tell the story. And
That's
so,
right.
And so I think from a success standpoint, if you take a minute and step back and listen and acknowledge that story with other people, acknowledge what they said is fruitful or entertaining, or, acknowledge that, you start to influence people in a different way, because that's what they want. When you tell a story, what you want somebody to do is go, oh my God, that was awesome. Holy crap. How did you get out of that? Right? If you ask a question after somebody tells you a story, it's amazing how the conversation and the tenor changes. So stop waiting in line to tell your story.
And don't be thinking about your story instead of listening.
Correct. Because that's what we do. That's what everybody does, right? And the third one is show gratitude. The way we've structured our company is to show gratitude to the people that work with me. Not for me, the people that work with me. And we are obsessive about taking care of our people. There are only 2 people in this company that work more than 35 hours a week. And it's myself and the CTO. Everybody else, we almost demand that they take time for their family, for their kids, for their life. A lot of people that work for us are corporate burnout and just don't want the 60-hour-a-week deal. And so that showing gratitude has to not only transcend your interpersonal communications, your interpersonal relationships, but it has to cascade down to the people that work with you. And if you have a culture of gratitude inside of your company, then you'll start to see productivity go up, loyalty go up, and overall dedication to the mission. But you have to, as a leader, be that person that says thank you in an authentic way that recognizes specifically what you're thinking about.
Excellent way to grow a team, keep a team loyal.
Mm-hmm.
How about your main point of sales, your USP? What should somebody do to buy from you?
It's the confident statement of me and my team are pretty smart at what we do. And because we're so focused on email, we know it inside and out. I've lived it and breathed it. A lot of our people have lived it and breathed it for over 10 years. And people buy from us because we are that smart, because we are that intelligent, we are that flexible, and we're that partner-centric approach that a lot of people are looking for. We're not just doing a task, but we're trying to grow whatever we're doing into the next stage of their evolution. And so commonly we'll toss out ideas that are not in scope, but just make the partner better. Whether or not they compensate us for us is one thing. But we're always trying to bring better ideas to the table to make any engagement more valuable for the company. And that's why people buy from us.
What about your ideal client? Who would that be?
Ideal clients are typically enterprise companies that are usually their marketing department is 5 or 10 people in just email. They're larger organizations. That's on one end of the spectrum, so typically public companies. On the other end of the spectrum is probably mid-market, or what I call lower enterprise, which are companies that are still trying to get off the ground with their email and make it more robust, but have dedicated people to that effort instead of a lot of shared hats. And then we have a third group of people that are companies that I've met that I really enjoy their product or their mission or their people, and don't really fit into a category, but it's just nice people, and we want to have nice people that we work with.
So scale is important, and you can scale with the biggest,
Yes.
but you might not have time to work with every mom and pop right now.
Yep. And it's, there are a lot of talented people out there, and I never turn away business without recommending somebody that I think would be a good fit if they aren't a fit for me. There are a lot of my friends in the industry, my family members in the industry, that do cater to a mom and pop shop or would help out. And I'll always take a phone call from anybody and spend a half hour or 45 minutes trying to help somebody out, regardless of the future return on investment. But there are people that I refer out to other partners because they're more positioned for that.
Yeah, I think there's a place for the specialist in any business, and even the email business has those who cater to the right kind of person. How do you find the ideal client now that you've identified who they are?
You got to know your USPs, you got to know your target market, and you've got to be open to busting your keister to get it done, right? So we get a lot of business from referrals, people that have worked with us in the past, that have gone to a different company and brought us in. The second is because I've been in this industry for so long and I'm on stage and on webinars and all kinds of stuff all the time, I get a lot of people that are like, I saw you at X, Y, and Z, or I read your article on this. And so we get a lot of traffic from that. And the third thing is I have some great friends in the industry and made some great connections for a long time. And so people refer me stuff. They don't have it, but they know somebody that needs help. And so we've become a trusted source for a lot of people in the industry. And I do ABM, I do traditional marketing, I do, sponsorships and that kind of stuff. But really the core of what brings business is the reputation that our agency has in this space and the dominance that we have in this space.
Yeah, I think that can be a lesson for the people listening if they want to become a kingpin in their niche, in their industry. You got to be on stage, you got to be visible, you got to be providing content that people want to understand and read.
Yep. And you have to be open to hearing. And this is, I think, the one thing I've learned over the years is opening to hearing different perspectives and not getting just sold on, I've been on stage and presented in front of people and come off stage and somebody will come up and go, well, now I thought about it differently this way. Now, instead of just taking the position of, I just presented for 45 minutes, so you're going to lecture me, I actually want to hear what they want to say because I don't know everything. I don't know every adaptation of how you can do things. And I actually have learned in that experience to change how I think or take in another perspective and try something different.
It's actually a filter. When people hear your way of doing it and they come up with an alternative, they are a filter that has seen a whole different light of how things are done. You pick up things without having to really go study because they just dumped it right in your lap.
Yeah. And it's great. It's fantastic. It's like, wait, I said this and that made you think of this. Holy crap, let's talk. It's that kind of, that's the fun and excitement of presenting on stage.
Yeah, it's kind of the leapfrog effect. You've got something that works. Here's something you can add to it to make it work twice as good.
Yep. Totally.
Now, what about crushing your competition? How do you beat those that consider themselves competition?
Do it better, faster, cheaper.
I like better, I like faster, and I like cheaper.
Most people do. You know what's funny is most of our competition. I know people at that company. I know the senior leadership of that company. Um, I don't necessarily see them as competitors. I see them as they do it their way and I do it my way. And there's clients that like it my way and there's clients that like it your way. And I don't need to crush anybody. What I want to do is actually just make a living for myself and my team. And I do the things, I do it my way. And I attract a certain client. Is it everybody? Nope. But I am sticking to the values of this company and the things that we do right instead of overextending ourselves into things we do half-assed. And
You do it the Frank Sinatra my way.
yes, do it my way.
What's your well-defined product? What do you actually sell?
We sell a whole host of things, right? So first off would be strategy, whether it's data strategy, data sciences, AI, or email, right? And we have strategic services, creative strategic services across the board. Second thing is we do creative for email. Whether it is a landing page for something to go to, whether it's an email itself, whether it's an automation, whether it's a dynamic email, whatever it is, we design it. And then the third thing is technology. We help clients get closer to the data through integrations. We work on migrations between one platform to another. And we run RFPs for clients where they need to pick a new vendor. So really our services live in those three buckets in anything that you can do with email.
Is there some minimum financial involvement that it takes to get involved and buy some of these services?
It does, yes.
And,
I don't generally tell what that number is.
Okay. Is it into the 5 figures?
On a yearly basis, yes.
Close enough.
Yep.
What about?
And there's a reason for that, and I want to clarify, but there's a reason for it, right? Is that we really excel best when we have partners that are invested in the channel over the long term. It's not a greed thing. It's more of, if you're going to make email work, you can come in a month engagement and I can tell you what to do and you can go do it. But if that's the entirety of your investment in the channel, that will be short-lived. And you'll come back to me and go, okay, this doesn't work anymore. It's like, no, it doesn't, because there's other crap you got to do. And so we really look for people that take the channel seriously and want to invest over a 12-month period, because the return on that for the client is much bigger than a stop and go.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing I've always thought, that if you don't have continuous marketing, you don't have any marketing.
Correct.
What about your 3 platforms that you might rely on? Can you name a few that you have as a favorite?
Yes. So, for objectivity, I won't name email service providers, because we run RFPs for companies. But I will tell you, from a business operations standpoint, being an agency, the 2 platforms that I really love to death is Clockify, which is an online time tracking app for agencies. So to calculate billable hours, profit, projects, and all that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic SaaS product. The second one is Pipedrive for a sales CRM. Probably has all the functionality of Salesforce in the early days, the core stuff, that everybody needs, instead of the bloatware we have today. But it is a phenomenal sales CRM that is simply amazing for us and our team. And then the third platform, honestly, Twitter, or X, whatever in the heck you call it now. Social media is a huge part of my social presence and my brand, my personal brand. And so using Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the things that I do are critical to the operation of this company in terms of PR.
Very good. Nice to hear, and appreciate you sharing those names. Some of them I never heard of, and they're kind of known only to the vertical market of email marketers, yes. I'm sure.
Actually, all of those tools are non category dependent, right? Pipedrive could be for anybody in a that is operating a business, needs a sales CRM. Clockify is more of an agency. That is more of a vertical focus. So if you're an agency and you need time tracking there, Clockify is that.
Is there something you do that's like the creme de la creme of the 5-star experience?
Every client that I have has my personal cell phone number. And they can call me anytime. Most of our clients have my calendar link that can schedule time whenever they want. And not just for complaints, but just to pick my brain for an idea, business objective. There are quite a few clients that we have that I provide advice and assistance outside of just email. And I don't charge them for that. I'm just thankful that somebody wants to get my opinion and happy to help in the advancement of somebody's business.
Ryan, where should I take my family vacation this year?
I just came back from Santorini, Greece, and it's freaking amazing. It's expensive, but it was amazing.
Beautiful place. I love it. How about brand ambassadors? What do you do to convert clients to be loudspeaker mouthpieces for your company?
I don't have to convince them at all. They actually, I've been very humbled by our client partners that advocate for us to other people. And a couple weeks ago, there was an article written about me for something else, and I had a couple clients post on there just, hey, great job and fantastic, and I find their comments on other posts where people are asking for help. And what I want from all our client partners is to be that ambassador, and so we're just our authentic selves trying to drive that conversation, that engagement.
I can't imagine anything better than that. There's a question that I like to ask that's about digital paid media, which you're an expert in, such as Google and LinkedIn, Facebook. Do you find that plays a role in the growth when you're working with your company, or as you recommend it to other companies?
Yeah, it does if you do it as a science, right? So 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when Google pay-per-click started, right, and all the pay-per-click started, it had success because people were learning how to use the internet. Right now, it's more of a science where you're looking for the highest converting, not the number of terms. And so what I am humble enough to say is, if you want to do paid media, you really should find somebody to help you with paid media. And there are a lot of, and it's not on us, right? We don't do paid media consulting for companies, but we know pros in the industry that do. And it has gotten so complex and so nuanced, even in natural search, that if you want to be successful in it, invest the money to get the help instead of trying to think that you can figure it out for yourself. Because listen, I'm a smart guy, but I ain't that smart. And I rely on people, I rely on the same people that come to me for help. I go out to other agencies and ask them.
Okay. Building on that experience.
Sure.
What percentage of revenue do you spend on A, marketing in general for a company, and B, on paid digital media as the part of that percentage?
It really does depend. I don't, there are articles out there that say you should have 20% of your revenue is spent on marketing, or 30%, whatever the goofy number is, right? And it's all over the board. And I think it's vertical dependent, and it's also how much can you do, right? Now, from our perspective, I don't spend a ton on marketing. I spend some, but a lot of mine is more guerrilla, is getting out there, speaking, writing, contributing, helping that way. But you should have something in marketing, and you should take it seriously, but you should diversify your spend. A lot of people think that Google pay-per-click or Facebook ads is the only thing I need to do. And it's just not true. You have to have a diversified business portfolio and investment portfolio, but you have to have that on your marketing side too. So if you're not doing natural search, paid search, email, media, PR, right? If you're not splitting those up and really looking at the full boat, then you're not going to get the amplification and the return on investment that you want. So the amount you should spend should track back to ROI, but you should also have buckets that are long tail investments.
I agree with you on 100% on that, because I was certified as a guerrilla marketing instructor with J. Conrad Levinson years ago. And he taught me one thing. He said, you got to be seen everywhere all the time.
Yes.
You can't market in one area and hope you're going to succeed. And a lot of people have a small budget, particularly in dentistry in my area, where I was always trying to make our practice the most visible. I could beat all the competition because I was at least aware of how you're supposed to market. And in dentistry, like the number was 3 to 5% is considered a large marketing budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because it's a mom and pop one area place, and they can't afford to go wide or deep.
Right.
But, you know, that's kind of the way it is. I want to ask you now, when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for as your legacy to the world?
Oh man, that's
Jumping deep.
That's deep. You know, I want to be remembered that for that I just tried to help. That I tried to bring a smile to everybody's face. That I was there for people when they needed it. I made mistakes along the way and have done some goofy things, but at the end of the day, I want people to remember me as somebody that wanted to help and was genuinely appreciative for their presence in my life and my presence in theirs.
I'm going to remember you as the smart guy with the yellow hat. So
I get a lot of flack for this yellow hat, by the way. I don't know why. It's a cool hat.
It's a lovely hat. How can we support you, and give us the way to find you on the internet or wherever you want to be found?
You bet. So on Twitter or X, however you want to call it this week, it's Ryan P. Phelan. I'm on LinkedIn under Ryan Phelan. My email address or website is rpeorigin.com. And email address is ryanp@rpeorigin.com. So please reach out, find me, tweet about me, whatever.
And if you actually get to be a client, he'll give you his phone number.
I will.
Very good. What do you say about your experience today on the show?
Oh, Ryan? It's been fun. I've really enjoyed my time here, and you've been phenomenal. And I really, for everybody that's watching, thanks for tuning in to see me and push your email program forward and put some focus on it, and remember to be authentic.
Yep. And other than our internet outage, this was extremely valuable information. And I'm looking forward to more connections with you, Ryan. I want to give you the last word. Give me 1 minute of wisdom.
1 minute of wisdom. I think he lost his internet again, but we're going to keep going in case this is recording.
Oh, I just gave you the full screen.
Oh, you just gave me the full screen. See, I thought I was gone. Okay. You know what? As an entrepreneur, there are a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things you should do. The best advice I have given to an entrepreneur or a leader is you can't do everything at 100%. What you can do is do what you can at 100% and admit that there are things that are just not going to get done. Your job as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a leader, is to build your team, encourage your team, and strive for that 100% to get it done and to do it right. Whether it's email or digital spend, programmatic, whatever it is, right? Focus on it, don't phone it in, and make sure that what you put out is the best you could do with the team that you have and the time that it is, and just be proud of the fact that you did it. Don't be disappointed because you didn't have X, Y, or Z. That's it.
There you have it. Right from the mouth, Ryan Phelan of RPE Origin. I like the wisdom. I like the organized thought pattern. Your successful business is obvious that we can see why it's successful with a leader like yourself. So thanks for being on our show, the Influencers Podcast today, Ryan. And as we finish up, I want to share with everyone how they can reach me. The digital business card I have is at OVU and /ONPASSIVE, or you can just take a picture of our QR code right above, and that'll get you to this digital business card. And there's really two things you should know. The Influencers Podcast is highlighted, and every one of our 60 plus different shows is on there, including I'm going to add Ryan's in there as soon as we finish today. And then you can also find more information on my books that I've written, the best-selling books in dentistry for marketing and managing a successful practice. I also focus on AI technology. One of the things that we're moving into is high technology using artificial intelligence, Ryan. And I think some of the things that we have, you will be using in the future. We rolled out this one this week. For the first time, it's available, OConnect, the successor to all the other video conferencing programs on the market. Say goodbye to Zoom, Team, GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar. Those are old hat, old technology. This is brand new, including things like speech-to-speech foreign language translation.
Oh, wow.
Big.
I'm going to check it out.
Big, right? Those things are on the plan to release to the public within a few short weeks. Now, we're already using it with a lot of interesting things. We got OTracker, which is going to be another very useful, probably the most advanced tracking system for websites. Could replace things like Google Analytics. So we have many things in store for the public, including Giving from the Heart. We have a program called Oh Bless. It's a platform to promote charities, innovation, startups, new ideas. And you can do like a GoFundMe type of situation to fund new startups through Oh Bless. So we're looking forward to sharing with the world all of our goodness and all of our expertise in the AI business. So glad to add you to the group. If you want to know more, go to any of these URLs. You'll get exactly where you want to be, and you'll learn and use all the free stuff. And if you told me the one thing that was important, it was you want to have three things that you stand for that make you better to beat the competition. And that was, you want to be cheaper, faster, better. And that's exactly what we're doing with our products. Cheaper, faster, better.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you for having me on, Doc.
So glad to see you guys, and all around the world, those watching the Influencer Podcast, stay tuned. We'll be back for more in just a few minutes. Take care. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.